You're watching Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Why do I feel like shit? Makes sense. Let's get into it with the lead. That was a good one. I'm Chipper. I had a couple coffees. We're ready to roll. Welcome into Oilers Nation every day, where we will recap, like I said in that video, a big dub by the Edmonton Oilers. Hello. Liam is here. He did not go to the game. Yeah, eating dubs. Liam was at home. He feels great. Aaron also at the game. How you
not feeling great today. not too chipper of a mood, but boy did I have fun last night. That's for sure, baby.
Oh yeah, we had a good time. I honestly might keep the shades on. It's very nice to not have the studio lights like beating down on me right now. But the entire city's hungover today, drunk off an Oilers win at the Heritage Classic. We are live on the Oilers Nation at YouTube. The Fitting Cat YouTube chat, where not Tyler Mulick either was in with the first comment and said, let's see if you remember me walking by the bus yelling that last night. QF Pro said, I'll be impressed if Tyler remembers anything past the third period. Now, the context of my night was that I was actually fine for the bulk of the game, but it was the classic, like, that photo is contrary to what I'm saying, but that's not a great angle. That's not a great.
You look great.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's a boy just happy to watch his team play hockey.
Yep. I was pretty good. And then in the last intermission or whatever, like right before the third period started, I was given 2 more beers. And that's what really sent me. But I do remember the game. I remember watching the Oilers absolutely dominate the Calgary Flames. Yes, and as Owen says in the chat, I forgot what it feels like to win a game. Yeah, a little bit. You kind of did. Yeah. But when La Bamba played, first play La Bamba of the year, whoo, boy.
Oh, yeah. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, as I would tip.
You can also hear me singing.
Do you know there's one thing that, like, obviously I didn't go to the game. But one thing I wish I could have heard a little bit more of watching the broadcast was the atmosphere. I would imagine the atmosphere was pretty electric in there, because I've seen Commonwealth full 3 other occasions. I went when the Women's World Cup was here.
Oh, that was awesome.
I went to that too.
Ice Teka.
No, the Women's World Cup.
The Women's World Cup.
This was 2017.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But then I went to the Ice Teka when they played Mexico. That was epic. And then I went to the Grey Cup when it was last year. I think it was Calgary and Hamilton. That was lame because it wasn't Edmonton.
Yeah.
But those are the only 3 times. And the vibes are good every single time. But I would imagine for an actual Edmonton team to play in a full Commonwealth Stadium would have been electric.
It was so electric. I love the upper bowl, Tyler. We were talking about before too. It's for the common man up there, and you get to have so much more fun and arguably a better view.
Yeah, so the upper bowl was definitely the spot to be last night at the game. I talked to a couple people. So did you, Aaron, who sat lower bowl. And like if you were really low down, I heard it was kind of hard to see over the glass. Upper bowl, the view is absolutely beautiful. I tweeted out a photo of like just as the sun was kind of going down and the stadium. Yeah. It was awesome.
So you guys were on the side where you got to see the city then, right?
Yeah, we're at the city view.
It's a great view.
It is, man. It's an awesome spot.
It took me many visits to Commonwealth to realize that you could see that, because I'd always sit on the other side. I never knew. And it was like randomly after like 3 years of going to Elks games, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know that sick.
Yeah.
Nice. So the view was really, really good. Everything kind of the way they dressed up Commonwealth was awesome. But as a city, and I know it's tough because like Elks games are never going to be that full, right?
Never.
That stadium is not built for 60,000 in terms of like washrooms, walking space. If you were at the game last night, I think you would know, like if you went to the concourse in the intermission, you weren't even like getting to the beer line by the end of it in most cases, because it was just jam packed everywhere. You couldn't do like a I knew a bunch of people at the game, and it was like, oh, we'll meet up in an intermission. And then like
No
when
chance.
you got there, you're
no
like, there's
chance.
no way I can meet up with anyone at an intermission. I didn't see Frank Saravalli once. But yeah, I thought they did a really, really good job with the presentation. The rink looked great. All this stuff kind of on the ground around the arena looked awesome.
I really liked how they had the rural Alberta advantage playing music live
cool.
just on the side, like in between whistles, commercial breaks.
Yeah.
It was a very cool touch.
It was cool that they did that for the players coming out too.
Yeah, it was sweet.
Cool.
All the showmanship around it. I think like the Oilers, the NHL, they get an A+ for that one because everything just looked really, really good. Like seeing them walk out in these jerseys too. Anyone who talked shit about the brown pants, brown gloves, you can eat it. You can eat your words because those look sexy as hell.
My mom wasn't a fan, so I'll pass on that message to her.
Sorry, mom. Sorry, mother.
I take it back.
They were cool, and yeah, I think what the Oilers coaches wore on the benches too were pretty dope.
Yeah,
like, it just looked good. It was such a great event by the NHL, and I'm not really sure if there could have been anything from a visual perspective that could have been much better.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. I like the way the players all really bought in, like during warm-ups, Evander Kane rocking the shades and the flappy toque. Like, that was sweet. And then, of course, the players coming into, oh, you got the Evander Kane photo? Yeah, I mean, that's definition of drip.
How do you not love this guy?
That goes so hard. But the Oilers, when they walked into the arena as well, I know the Flames did their cool little overalls and all of that, which I thought was fine.
Cool.
I mean, whatever. Everyone's got to pick a thing.
Yeah.
The Oilers was just so much better. Like the helmets, everyone wearing the matching like work safe Oakleys as well.
The coffee cups that were props that didn't have coffee in them.
That was cool. Do you know what? One thing made me laugh. Like a lot of these guys didn't look like they should be on the oil fields or anything like that. But boy, oh boy, Adam Ernie sure looked good in those coveralls.
He's got a future, bro.
Well, buddy, you might want to keep hold of those.
Yeah. Everyone's like, who do we give these to after? And Ken Allen comes, he goes, Adam, just hold yours.
Just hold yours. It was great how they came into on those, what are they called? Full
side by side.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
No,
it was a very cool touch.
They did a great job. And yeah, I think Calgary took a little bit too much stick for that. You know, it's fun. Like the players, we clamor for these guys to have some character every now and then seeing Chris Tanev was so funny. Like he just smiles and all his teeth are basically gone. He's like, yeah, you're the guy who looks like you might have won this before, buddy. Like it was very good by both teams.
All right. Also, a very cool Oilers Nation everyday connection early on in that game.
Yes.
When our boy Lance Kane is on the Jumbotron and then absolutely crushes it. And I think he won. You can correct me in the chat, Lance, because I see you're in there. You won an all-inclusive trip to like one of 53 spots WestJet flies. That's sick.
Lance sent me the list of places he can pick from. We were just looking at it right now. It's incredible. I said last night on After Dark, I felt like a proud father out there just looking down going, I know him.
Yeah.
I know him.
I did do like a double take. I was
Represent
like,
the chat.
Lance. I was like,
You made
that
it.
Lance Kane. Oh my God, it's Lance Kane. So shout out to Lance Kane.
Kane's had a big night last night.
Yeah. Good night to be a Kane. Evander pops home the empty netter, has without a doubt his best game of the season. I think you could say the same for a bunch of Oilers. Also, we will pat ourselves on the back because our prediction for Connor McDavid's injury came true.
Yes, we did predict that right from the get-go.
We said it 7 days ago today. It was, you know what? If there wasn't the Heritage Classic Monday, they would have maybe even just said day-to-day or something like that. If it was going to be long-term, they would have said right from the jump, he will not be available in the Heritage Classic. They wanted the storyline. They wanted that juice. Even Jay Woodcroft in the morning said, we got a couple of guys who are game-time decisions. You knew Connor was playing. You knew the whole time Connor was playing. He almost pops home the first goal of the game on that rush, which we think it went in.
I've been convinced by this because they never showed a good replay.
No, and we went back this morning and rewatched it and did like a frame by frame. McDavid scored.
So
he scored that goal.
We don't have the clip here, but if you go back and watch him and pause it like Tyler and I did, the puck is clearly going 5-hole. And then Markstrom does manage to stop the puck, but it looks like he manages to stop it with his right pad, which then goes into the net. I just think that the NHL didn't have a camera angle on it.
I agree.
But that would also mean the Oilers didn't have one, and therefore that's why there was no challenge. I mean, it's an outgoing game. Sometimes you're going to have this stuff where it's just not going to work out for you. If that was at Rogers or the Sad Dome, probably would have been reviewed.
And my Connor McDavid first goal of the game ticket would count.
Yes,
I'm
it
going to
was.
live my life like those people who think Donald Trump won the 2020 election. I'm just going to say Connor McDavid scored that goal. People are like, you remember the Heritage Classic? I'm like, yeah, 6-2 win. McDavid got the first goal. You're a sheep?
You look like you've got an extra $40 in your
Oh, you
bank
believe
account.
everything?
Oh, yeah. Hey, just because the NHL says it doesn't go in. Read an article. Do your own research. McDavid scored the first goal of the Heritage Classic. And then our boy Brett Kulak.
Yeah.
He gets the second goal of the Heritage Classic. Where I want to run the replay on this one. This was an unbelievable, like, offensive hockey IQ play
Oh, it's just
from
a
Brett
short
Kulak.
one.
Yeah. Oh, that's
it.
But I love the way he comes in off the point and just slips on down and actually gets some power on that backhander as well.
Yeah, it was right before that. He's the one who he made the pass to the D-man who then passed it down or whatever.
Yeah.
I probably could have cut this a little bit better. But and then he comes right through and manages to slide it in there on the goal. A great finish from a guy who scores like 3 times a year.
Yeah. He looked great. The Oilers in the first 10 minutes of that game had 4 or 5 grade A looks. The one McDavid ripped in wide on and then put it 5-hole on Markstrom. Draisaitl had a backhander right next to the net. Zach Hyman had a chance, and then they score on the Kulak one. Like, the Oilers came out pedal to the GD floor last night, and it was so good to see. Big game, big moment. We've seen them plenty of times over the last 18 months come out flat. They came out last night like bats out of hell, Liam.
They really felt like there was no doubt that they were going to win this game, which is interesting because they've been up in 2-0 in games before this season and blown it. But it felt like they were able to do what they wanted that night, and it was a great game by them, to be honest. And do you know one thing that kept happening? And McDavid said it 2 or 3 times, I think. They really want to push that this team has won a lot of hockey games in the last couple of years. I think McDavid had 3 interviews where he's like, this team has won over 100 hockey games in however many years and like number of playoff rounds. And he's like, we are way better than what. And he said, he's like, I don't know what team that was in the first 7 games, but he's going to turn it around.
Someone said in the chat earlier, super weird that the NHL gave the Oilers 15 preseason games to start the year. Probably won't happen again. The Oilers should be back. I think this is something that's going to spark them. Let's keep breaking down the game, though. Kulak makes it 1. Kulak makes it 2-0. And then it was Zach Hyman who scoops up another one. I am not sure why Jacob Markstrom played this the way he did.
He's bad.
Yeah, that could be it. They have not been getting good goaltending down in Calgary. But, like, dude, any amount of pre-scout, Leon Draisaitl is not shooting that puck. From that point onward, he is going to the guy charging the net, and Markstrom doesn't make a good read on it. Oilers the benefactor, big selly from Zach Hyman. This game did eventually tighten up, though, and I think that is worth pointing out. But if the Flames weren't being given power play after power play after power play after power play after power play, some of it was on the Oilers, some of it was on the officiating, like the Darnell Nurse one. I didn't like that they call that penalty on Nurse and then don't call anything from another scrum the rest of the game. Like, did Darnell Nurse punch him in the head deserve a roughing? Yes. Did that happen 2, 3, 4 times throughout the game? Yes. Why did you call the one when the Oilers were already down a man? Didn't make a ton of sense to me. The Draisaitl one, ticky-tack, but it's a penalty. I just felt like that game was 3-2 after 2 because the Oilers were down 2 men for like a combined 3 minutes there.
Yeah, they were very good at 5-on-5.
They were
very good.
Dude,
at 5.
Dominated them. 5-on-5 numbers, courtesy of natural stat trick. Shots 29-15. The Oilers had like the first 8 shots of the game.
I think 10.
First 10. There you go.
It was 10, and Calgary didn't have 1.
Scoring chances for and against at 5-on-5. 29-13 for the Oilers. Shots from high danger. Shot attempts from high danger areas.
This is what I wanted you to read.
Okay, we're both looking at natural stat trick.
I just want to make sure this is the right number here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
High danger shot attempts, Corsi 4. From dangerous areas, the Oilers had 20. The Flames had 3.
That's massive.
3 at 5-on-5. Calgary wasn't getting a sniff in that hockey game. They got brought back into the game because they were given a ton of power plays, but they looked dead. If I was a Flames fan, I'm not. Shout out to Sports Closet, by the way, for the
Your hat looks sick.
Fresh white
I
lid.
love the feel.
Corduroy.
Bringing it back.
Really?
That's what they call it. Yeah. Give that. I think your dome's maybe a little bit bigger than mine. Don't ruin the little nubs on the back.
I can't.
It's when you get a hat with a real nice fit to it.
It's
like
good,
that,
Liam.
You take advantage.
That is dripping.
Shout out to Sports Closet Studio. But if I was a Flames fan and I was wearing one of these hats, but in Flames colors, I would be sitting here today telling you that this team's done. They have no fight. They have no ability to generate offense. Today on Daily Faceoff Live, we had John Goyens, former QMJHL coach. He comes on and does like game film breakdowns for us.
He's so good.
He's so good, man. His stuff is must watch if you head over to the Daily Faceoff.
Every Monday is on your show.
Every Monday, yeah, he's on
recommend it.
Yep.
He pointed out they absolutely love wrist shots from the top of the zone.
The Flames?
Yeah. Off the rush, all of that. No traffic in front. Goalie set. Float a wrister on net. And that's really all they did last night, too. They didn't get quality scoring chances at 5-on-5. The numbers back it up. I don't think that team has enough offensive juice, which is insane because they're paying two guys that combined $17.5 million in Huberdeau and Kadri. Those guys can't piss a drop.
They certainly cannot. I kind of forgot. I said this right before we went live. Forgot Elias Lindholm played last night.
Mm-hmm.
He was very invisible.
Dude, until you said it, I was like, holy shit, he's a Flame.
Yeah. I thought Kadri, to his credit, he obviously scored a goal. It caused something. He was relevant to the game.
He was good. He was mixing it up a bit.
Huberdeau, again, irrelevant to the game.
I didn't notice Huberdeau out there once. And granted, I was sitting far away. Hard to see the numbers.
Their best offensive player might have been Mackenzie Weegar. And that's not good because he's typically known for his defensive play. But yeah, that team is just not have a lot of juice in them. And we said it before, and this is not to just, I guess, because we're Oilers fans, but this team needs to go into a serious rebuild and reevaluate everything. Yeah. And it's the perfect time. You got a young coach, a young GM.
You got a new barn coming in a couple of years.
They have so many good young players. Dustin Wolf is going to be a great goalie. Vladar's legit. Markstrom, to his
trade
credit.
Vladar, though. Get a second-round pick.
Yeah, sure. Markstrom is what he is, I guess. I like Coronado. Connor Zeri's legit, too. Like, they do have a lot of talent. Yeah, a lot of talent in that system.
But you know what? They're missing the high end. And you can only get that by picking in the top 5.
Yeah, I think Coronado has a high ceiling. I would say he's that, but I think he's probably the highest drafted prospect.
Yeah, I know, but he's not 50 goals. He's 35. No, he's Mangiapane.
No, he's not. He's way better than that.
You think he can score 50 goals?
I think one day he could score 50.
Wow. Okay.
He's picked in the same spot as Cole Caulfield.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, the Mangiapane comparison probably isn't accurate at all. It's harsh, yeah. But I mean, that's a guy who in his best years was popping home 35 plus, right?
Yeah, definitely. Mangiapane, interesting player.
Jason is in, and this is an important question, I think, as we dissect the game. Also, it's a Sherwood Ford Giant recap of today's game, by the way. Don't mean to be a downer, but did we look that good because the Flames are bad? Take 6 penalties against playoff teams. It'll be a different story most times. Okay. Yes, to the first part of that, a little bit. I think I do agree with you that part of that was the Flames not being very good, and they have not looked very good at all this season. Granted, I think they still have more wins than the Oilers, which is weird.
No, we're tied.
Oh, we're tied? Maybe we're back. But the second part, take 6 penalties against playoff teams. It'll be a different story most times. I'll disagree with that because all the Flames did was take advantage of those power plays. The Flames did nothing outside of those power plays. So, yeah, I mean, if you take 6 penalties against playoff teams, I don't think it's a different story. Most teams will convert on 2 of the 6. If you play that good at 5-on-5 against playoff teams, you're going to be fine. If the Oilers can bring that same effort, that same style on Thursday against the Stars, they're good to go.
Yeah, I agree. Like the Oilers 5-on-5 were very strong last night. They were able to create a lot of chances for themselves too. In that first line, I really liked the way the lines were spread out yesterday. I thought Kane with
Me too.
Yeah, Kane with Nugent Hyman was working very well.
That's an unreal second line.
Yeah. Fogle, he works in that first line with Dry McDavid because he's speed. He does not have the skill to play with them, but he can keep up and he can get in opportunistic areas, which is going to work.
Yep.
Third line was solid too, although Ryan McLeod didn't play a lot.
I didn't notice him.
He's struggling right now.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna talk about that a little bit because I do have a little bit of a comment on the bottom 6 here. I know Mulik, who was at the game at Greta last night, I think he closed down Greta last night.
Mulek is such a
changed the
beauty,
name.
man. I love Mulek.
No longer Greta, it's just
It's
Mulek.
Mulek.
I want to talk about the bottom 6 minutes in a little bit here, Liam, but I don't want to get too negative quite yet because there's still a lot of really good stuff to get to in our Sherwood Ford Giant recap, brought to you by not just Sherwood Ford the Giant, but also, did you know they're firing up a little power sports and marine business?
I've heard the
You've
rumors
heard, you've
in the heart of
heard,
Sherwood
hey?
Park.
Yeah, in the heart of
I've
Sherwood
seen the
Park,
building.
right by Millennium Place. It's Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. We are very excited to get that opened up in February of 2024. Tons of great stuff going on out in Sherwood Park with our friends at Sherwood Ford, the Giant, and Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Still more positives for us to get to, so we're going to keep on rolling. Connor McDavid looked good.
Yep.
He was flying. I think that was his best game of the year. He's good. If people were like, "Oh, they're rushing him back," well, nope. I didn't see him wince once. Granted, again, very far away, but like, there's no clips that went viral of him wincing or looking slow. Like, Connor was great.
Yeah, he was buzzing right from the get-go. Again, he did score the opening goal, like we mentioned already. And yeah, just the whole time was able to keep his feet moving. And we were obviously unsure what he would be like because of the elements.
Yeah.
Didn't look noticeable at all.
Nope.
He was fine.
He was good.
I'm excited for McDavid to be back.
Arguably the most noticeable Oiler, though, was Evander Kane.
Yeah, hands down.
He looked like vintage, what you want out of Evander Kane. Like,
He's dialed in.
yeah, he was absolutely dialed in. He was being a little pest, and we even got this great mic'd up moment from Kane during the game. Curtis.
Off him! Boosh, nice try, good try. What are you gonna do? What is anybody here gonna do? Let's go this way, Kaner. Oh, yeah!
Oh, that's awesome.
It's so
What
good.
is anybody here gonna do?
What is anybody here gonna do?
And they did nothing.
I mean, it was funny too. Like, the people who were in that scrum, I would say, were guys who would fight on Calgary, but Kane just has no one intimidates him.
No. I loved seeing how hard the Oilers were celebrating goals too. Like that
Yes.
Kane one, Draisaitl on Boucher's goal, got like real low and gave it a big F. Yeah, like
You could just tell how much
They
they
wanted it.
cared and
Yeah.
were jacked up for this game. It was very refreshing
It was-
to see.
I do think this can be a bit of a Kickstarter, which is
Mhm.
an obvious statement, of course. But like, when you watch the game, like, those guys wanted it so bad, and I think they are so frustrated with how they played in that first 7 games. You got to think back to Thursday too. That was when they essentially had like a small closed door meeting. Everyone dropped an F-bomb. Hyman was like, "We're not scoring goals like we were. We're this offensive team."
Yeah.
And then you come out on Sunday in probably the biggest games of the regular season they've played in a long time.
it'll go down as the biggest game of the regular season this year. Right?
Yeah. And you, from the get-go, just absolutely pump your division rivals. It was fantastic. And hopefully they can just keep the momentum going now, because they got another big prove me moment on Thursday.
Yep. The offense from the defense was great. I know, again, people, like you said, they pumped them. People will be like, it was 3-2 heading into the third. That was not the scoreboard. Might have said 3-2. That was not a 3-2 hockey game.
Markstrom made some good saves.
He's fine, yeah.
Made some good saves. He had the one, I think it was a Fogle right in the slot too. They were good. Defense, though, was scoring some goals.
Leon Draisaitl with 2 points, which was significant if you were betting on that hockey game. Good to see.
I was.
Also, some offense from the defense again. So this is going to transition into some talk about the bottom 6, but Kulak gets on the board, activates. Vinny Desharnais' first career goal was a wrist shot from the point that went top corner.
From his office.
Yep.
From his office. It
Yeah,
was,
you always say that. I said that in the game. I was like,
You
dude, he
did.
scored. And I was like, that's Liam's going to say it's from his office.
Check my Twitter. It's out there. The way that puck bounced was insane. And obviously, like, in the moment, I think we all thought Evander Kane tipped it. And then, you go back and look, and like, boy, oh boy, no goaltender in the NHL would have saved that. Because that puck just bang right into the top corner. And it was great for Vinny. Fantastic, insurance goal in such a great moment.
I really thought it was Kane's goal.
I
was so
Kane thought it was
convinced.
his goal.
I think Kane thought it or was trying to make it his goal.
When they announced it was Vinny in the building there, the place went pretty nuts.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool moment.
Maynard made a good point, and they said this on the broadcast too, and it was funny. It was like, I wonder if Vinny knows, and I wonder if he's going to get the puck.
They take them all out.
Oh, after every goal?
Yeah.
Really? I
They
did not
sticker
know
'em.
that. No
Yeah,
way.
I know someone who I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I think every puck is
Interesting.
taken out and tagged. because they go through a ton of pucks, man.
Oh yeah, I must
That's a lot of
have,
tagging.
especially yesterday too. They're all flying out. They're just in Commonwealth at the moment. Actually,
I was watching a game a couple weeks ago with my girlfriend, and they have the big cooler or freezer in the
Yeah,
penalty
yeah.
box for all the pucks. And me and my buddies and my girlfriend are watching a game, and she was like, "Oh, the cooler for the biosteels," and I was like, "No, that's
Oh,
for the pucks."
yeah.
And
Keep
she
'em on
was like,
ice.
"Shut up," and she wouldn't, but she thought we were screwing with her.
No,
She was like, "Why would they do that? That's so dumb.
They
The
keep-
ice is cold."
Gotta keep
They
them on
literally
ice.
keep them on ice.
Yeah, they literally keep them on ice. The pucks are always frozen. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they tag everyone. So that would actually be the puck
Okay, good.
from Vinny's goal. So great to see that. Boosh bomb. Hello.
Ripped
Evan
it.
Bouchard. Let's take a look at the defensive scoring leaders in the NHL right now.
Hello,
Fox, Theodore, Dahlin, Bouchard, Makar, Gostisbehere, and Hedman. That is some pretty elite names. We are going to ignore the plus-minus stat
Should've
on the
got that.
far right side. Could
Damn it, I
have
should've
cropped
got
that
that.
out.
Damn it.
We maybe could have cropped that out.
We're honesty. We're all
But-
about honesty.
9 points on the
Yeah.
year for Evan Bouchard. The league leader in goals for D-men. It has 4. He's got 3 now. I mean, dude, no one shoots the puck like he can.
No.
And listen, I know he is better than how he showed early in the season. There were dumb mistakes. There were bad turnovers. There were moments where he looks brain dead, and he is never going to fully eradicate those. He will never be Victor Hedman on that list. He will never be an Adam Fox or a Cale Makar. But what he will be is a high-end offensive producer, a guy who does things that no one else on this blue line can do in the offensive zone.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he'll ever be that elite, but I think these last 2 games since that Minnesota debacle, he has been
He's been better.
really, really good.
Yep.
If you go back and watch the Rangers game, he's like giving him no time on the puck.
And he still played 20 minutes.
Yeah, and he's being an absolute prick in front of the net too. Like
Yeah.
nobody was able to stand there when Bouchard was there. And I saw that yesterday too. And I think that's really positive to see from a guy who was at such a low on after Tuesday. And then to come back and have 2 really good games, I think it's a credit to him, and where he knows where he needs to be at, and to bounce back like that and to score a huge goal like he did is we'll see. Hopefully this is just a confidence thing for him, because we remember last season, right? Like it took him forever to get going. And then obviously Tyson Berry getting moved helped him out quite a bit. But
Once the wheels were in
Once they
motion,
were
he could
rolling,
not be slowed
he
down.
was unbelievable. He's such a weapon on that power play too. And just in any moment when he gets a shot, and I know he's a bit of a shin pad assassin, but I bet if you went back and looked, he gets a lot of shots through as well to make himself really relevant and a threat every time he's in the offensive zone.
Yeah. The thing that's going to be tough for Bouchard is he's now fighting against a narrative, right?
Yes.
And we see this all the time. We've seen it with Darnell Nurse. You even see it a bit with Draisaitl, man.
Yeah.
People love doing it. Like he got tagged with this lazy Leon narrative early in his career, and people still burn him for that. And they notice those things. There's confirmation bias at play. So the tough part for Bouch will be fighting that.
Yes.
Because no matter how good he is, you will still have people who maybe don't pay that close of attention, even people who cover the team who don't want to give him credit. We'll want to sit there and go, no, he's actually bad, because remember the start of the year. So I think that'll be the tough part for Bouch. I do think, easing off his minutes was the right play from Woodcroft, but I'm still a really big believer in this guy's ceiling, because he is a ceiling that no one else on this blue line has. Special player.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt he's a defenseman with the most potential.
Yep.
I mean, he will make a mistake again,
Yeah.
but let's just ease it when it comes to that.
Speaking of fighting narratives, there is going to be a narrative that the Oilers changed up their system. They gave up on what they were trying to do at the start of the year. I am here to tell you that is not really what happened.
No, they just committed to it yesterday. They really bought into it.
Yeah, we trust Bruce Kurlock to give us our breakdowns on these, because
Yep.
he is a smart man. But he even tweeted, as I noted last night, no changes, just more commitment to systems, far more aggression on players against wall with the puck. F3 nice and high. D defended the blue line very well.
Mhm.
We saw a little bit of it going around yesterday that, the Oilers are going to change it. The Oilers are going to change it. They didn't. They played the exact same way. They were just more committed and a little bit more structured.
Yeah.
And also they played a team that's really, really bad at 5-on-5.
Yeah, it was a little easier for them, I guess, to say.
But maybe a good game to be like, okay, that is what we need to do. Like even the Nashville game when they won, they gave up way too many scoring chances in
Gave
that
away
game.
40 shots.
But last night was the Oilers' best effort of the year. And I think it again shows that what they are trying to do, what the coaching staff is trying to do, it will work.
Yeah, I think I completely agree.
Mm-hmm. Matthew says Ekholm looks like he has concrete skates. He's not moving very well. Yeah, he's definitely not up to 100%. I'm a little bit worried about that, if I'm being honest, just because older D-man wasn't great anyways in the speed department. Now you have an injury that we know can really, really plague you, even if you're playing through it and you're good enough to play. It can slow you down. He missed a lot of training camp. Like, I'm a little bit worried that speed might not come back.
Ever.
I don't know. It might be tough. Someone told me to take off the sunglasses.
No. It's way too bright in here.
Way too bright in here. Right back on.
Said that.
Matthew in the chat.
Matthew.
Take them off. Matthew,
you were at Greta last night.
Matthew, I'm also sitting with a blanket on and haven't taken it off on the show, so I'm good.
Tyler is a hipster.
A little bit.
You don't know it.
I'm wearing a corduroy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
I'm different.
Okay. Negatives of the game last night.
Oh, Tyler, you always have to bring up the negatives.
They need to get scoring in the bottom six here.
Yes,
Giddy up.
they do.
I know you talked about the minutes, and I think that's fair. Ernie only played 3.5 minutes at 5-on-5, and the Oilers are only dressing 11 forwards.
Okay, I had a thing I thought was interesting. I never thought about it until they mentioned it a bunch on Broberg, but like, it must be difficult to not play much in these games and then have to go out there and like get moving. You know what I mean? Like Ernie played, what did you say, 3 minutes or whatever?
3:34 at 5-on-5.
Adam Ernie was my cold performer of the game last night
literally.
because he was just sitting down the whole time.
3:34. He doesn't even play special teams. He didn't kill a lick of penalties, nothing.
Because I think Broberg was their lowest defense minutes, 7 minutes. I think he played a little bit on the PK too. From
9 seconds on
Okay.
the PK. So he played 7:19 last night.
So he came out in the third period, and I'm sure they said on the broadcast he played like 2 minutes combined in like the first and second period or something crazy like that, or whenever it was. And he came out and he made a bit of an error. And in my head, I was like, oh, Broberg, can't make that. But I thought, man, he's been sat on the bench for 38 minutes. Like, it must be so difficult to expect these guys to go out there and perform. And I thought, I was like, maybe tonight would have just been a good idea to also just go 12-6. Just know that one guy.
They couldn't, though.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Janmark's hurt.
I guess they couldn't. Yeah,
like, they're lucky McDavid was healthy. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to, like.
They might have been able to do an emergency call.
No, because you need to play the game before short.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I learn the rules every day.
So the Oilers last night had 6 players play under 10 minutes at 5-on-5. Dylan Holloway, 9:58. Vinny Desharnais, 9:06. Ryan McLeod, 8:04. That's a big drop for McLeod. And then Broberg played 7:10. Ryan, 6:13. Ernie, 3:34. I think our feet just touched.
Again, third show in a row.
Happens once a show. I think that needs to get sorted out a little bit. There's a ghost in our studio. Things are falling.
Another paranormal activity.
What was that?
That you won't believe
pen
me
case.
for.
Okay. Sorry. We are losing our train of thought very quickly today. So let's get it dialed in here, boys.
Ryan McLeod.
Play him more. I know he's got to score. He's got to start scoring. I made the joke on Owen radio that it kind of feels like he's playing with his stick upside down right now because he just skates around and doesn't do anything with the puck.
Ringette guy.
He can be better. You got to play him more at the same time. There's a bit of a give and take here. I don't think he's been so bad that he needs to be sat down. Like, he's been on the ice like 1 goal against this year. Like, he's trustworthy out there. Play him more, give him more offensive zone chances. He started just 20% of his shifts in the offensive zone last game.
I agree to an extent, but I also think the Oilers needed that game more than anything. And if McLeod's just going to go out there and he's not doing anything offensively, like, he averages a shot a game. Like, he's not creating a lot. He's not doing much.
Yep.
And it went back and look. I think Draisaitl played a lot with Holloway and Brown, and they were able to have some opportunities. And obviously, McLeod is not Leon Draisaitl. We're not comparing the two. But I'm just worried Ryan McLeod isn't the guy we really think he can be. I think he's a great NHL player, and I think he's a guy that deserves to play every single night. I think he's probably a much better 4C than he is 3C. And I think he's probably a little bit better on the wing than he is at center. And I think, he's obviously going to be there.
So he's a 3 left wing, not a 3C.
I think that's probably the way I would do it. I'll put him on 4C and get better line mates on the 4th line. Like, if it was Lavoie, McLeod, Derek Ryan, for example. Pretty decent 4th line.
Yeah.
and then you go out and get your 3C at the deadline. That idea isn't going to work for a while unless the Oilers make an early move.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say go and get a third line center at the deadline. That would kind of be my priority at the moment.
So Adam Ernie's out here playing 3 minutes and 34 seconds. I'm going to present this now on the screen. For those listening as a podcast or on the podcast, Raphael Lavoie won AHL Player of the Week. He might be too good for that league.
He might be a little bit too good.
And he's fighting dudes too.
Gordie Howe hat trick. He had a Gordie Howe hat trick.
Good for him.
Listen, I was fine with the choice at the time. I said Lavoie didn't grab the bull by the horns in the preseason. He played good, but not great. You snuck him through waivers. He went now and got to go play a handful of games in the American League, keep his confidence up or get his confidence up. This can be better than 3 minutes and 34 seconds of Adam Ernie.
I agree.
Let's go.
One thing I would say that is similar to what the Oilers have done to defend them a little bit. They did this with Ryan McLeod, ironically enough.
Yeah.
Ryan McLeod, everyone thought he should have made it out of the camp.
Yeah.
The Oilers sent him down. He's a little different. He'd have to clear waivers. He was still on his two-way. And went down. Eventually, I think it was 20 games in. Played 28 games for Bakersfield. 7 games, sorry. And then came up and played the next 71 for the Oilers. Maybe that's just what they're waiting to do with Raphael Lavoie here. Like, get his feet wet, get him moving, try and gain that momentum that maybe they learned from last season when they had Dylan Holloway, who lost his momentum a little bit, right? Send him down, bring Lavoie up, Adam Ernie to the oil fields. Sorry, Adam Ernie.
Go to Bakersfield.
Yes,
A little harsh.
Adam Ernie is...
Send him to Serbia. I'm working on the mines.
He's just so irrelevant. Like, I hate piling on guys, but he just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't kill penalties, and that was the argument against Lavoie, too. And it's like, well, why not have Lavoie there? Or Lane Peterson could probably kill penalties, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Like, and Bruce Kulak brought up a great point when we had him on last week. Lavoie was killing penalties in junior and like the World Juniors and all that kind of stuff. Like, he's done it before. Yeah, like help the guy out.
Teach him.
Put him out there and blow out games on the PK if there's one late in the game.
Yeah.
Go defend this. Go block a couple of shots.
I think it's time. Like, let's go. If it's clear Jay Woodcroft doesn't want to use the player, so get Adam Ernie out of here. Even if it's not Lavoie, bring up Peterson. So at least you have a 4C, right shot center.
Do you then worry that Lavoie is Adam Ernie? That he's getting less than 4 minutes a night?
He can't be then.
What do you mean?
Like, you can't do that, is what I'm saying.
That's
like,
what I mean. But
yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, is
it's what Dylan Holloway had gone to him last year.
Yeah,
he does that.
I just think you need to, at some point, if you're Woody, this minutes thing is going to become a bigger conversation. I get last night, BOA, big game. You want the win, sure. Need to get a little bit more balance in these minutes.
Yep.
And someone commented it. Or was it a Bruce Kurlock tweet? It might have been a Bruce Kurlock tweet because he's so damn smart and I read everything he says. But
I believe it too.
Yeah. So he goes, Oilers have a time on ice issue that will need to get solved or next spring will be a challenge. You can't just play Connor and Leon for 80 regular season games as much as you are right now. You got to dial it back a hair. Again, last night's special exception Heritage Classic, 55,100 at Commonwealth. To see you get a win, you do whatever it takes.
Yeah. Different
Dallas, 18,000 in attendance, start of November. Let's balance it a little bit. Bring up Lavoie, play him 10 to 12 minutes a night. Let's get the shit sorted out.
When do they go on that California roadie?
California.
Do.
Always had a party.
California.
They go out to Cali. Oh man, they're not out to Cali until the end of December.
Okay, so I was
which is right when they called up Kyler Yamamoto and he sparked the team that year.
They called up Yamamoto?
Remember, like 3 years ago? For the Rangers game on New Year's Eve,
yes,
and then the dry Ryan Kai line took off.
Yeah, that was a good. I'm trying to find here quickly. The Vegas Golden Knights to me are always that team that you can kind of look at, but like they balance out their lines really well. Let's have a quick peek here quickly once I'm searching. Vegas's fourth line in that 4-3 win against the LA Kings. This cell is spread out 5-on-5. The top line of Barbashev, Eichel, and Marchessault played 10-24. The second line of, is it Cotter, Stevenson, and Stone played 10-22. Third line, Pavel Dorofeev.
Got you.
Names. Carlson, Amadio played 9-15.
Mike Amadio, yeah.
Fourth line, Will Carrier, Brett Howden, and Keegan Colasar played 7 minutes. The Oilers need to find a way to do that. I know it's a little bit different because they play 11 and 7. Draisaitl, McDavid, Fogo was 9:46 yesterday. Hyman, Nuge, Kane was 9:18. Third line, 3 minutes, 22 seconds was Holloway, McLeod, Brown. Fourth line of Ernie, Derek Ryan, and McLeod was 3:10. A little bit different.
Yeah.
Obviously, games 5 and 5 is always never equal. But it gives you a pretty good idea of where the Oilers are at with their lines at the moment. Call it depth, but I don't know. I'm starting to convince myself maybe they don't quite have as much as we thought.
Okay, you mentioned Connor Brown. I want to have a Connor Brown conversation because someone talked about him in the chat. QF Pro, Lavoie has a shot. I honestly think if Brown doesn't start producing, I want Lavoie there instead. I am willing to be so patient with Connor Brown because he's good, man. He's an NHL player. He's a 20-goal guy this year. He still will be. I believe these things I'm saying. Last game, he played a lot more than his third-line counterparts because they started giving him a regular shift with Leon Draisaitl. If I can pat myself on the back a little, I said when they signed him, if he is a better version of Kyler Yamamoto, tenacious on the forecheck, but has better touch, better shot. I said, everyone's talking about the Connor and Connor connection. Is he 97 shooter? I said, I think he could be a better fit with Leon Draisaitl. They played 258 together. The shot attempts were 5-1. The shots were 3-0. I think you need to play Connor Brown with Leon Draisaitl. I think you need to split up 97 and 29, build out a more rounded top 6. I think Connor Brown will work well with Leon Draisaitl. I think that's the next move here.
Yeah, I do like that idea. And I thought Brown was good last night. He was
really good.
He was very good at winning back pucks. And look, I know we all want goals here, and I'm sure Connor Brown wants it more than any of us. But at the end of the day, he's being productive. He showed that he can play with those top guys. Was it him yesterday too who made that play to Holloway when on a breakaway? Like, Holloway's got to finish that. But that's great pass from Brown, and let's see what he can provide to this team. And I think we've got to have patience. Let's not act like Lavoie is going to come in and do anything more than that on that line, or anyone in Bakersfield for that matter. They're in different points in their career. Brown is going to be a good player for this team. They obviously need him to get going, but as long as he's going in March, April, who cares?
Yeah.
Get going then.
Yep. Last game, there were only 4 Oilers who had more or who had 3 or more 5-on-5 shots. Hyman had 3, Fogle had 3, Brown had 3, and Evander Kane ended the night with 4. So, and again, those guys, if they're shooting the puck, the results start to come. I'm confident in that.
Wade said, Brown is coming around. Vinny D impressed the hell out of me yesterday too.
I thought Vinny was really good yesterday too. Obviously, he gets the goal. That's great. Shout out to Wade.
You guys ever notice how much Connor Brown and Brett Kulak look like twins? Have you ever noticed this?
Do we have a side-by-side?
I am pulling it up right now, actually.
You're going to need to show your work on
Also,
that one.
In the meantime, I also brought this in, Tyler, so every time you do it.
Oh, we're using this all the time. This is like such an old joke, dude. Didn't this happen like 2 years ago?
No, this is just last year.
Oh, it was just last year? Okay, I feel better about making this a bit then. Think about it.
Think about it.
Think about it. Okay, shout out to Sherwood Ford, the Giant, for our game recap. Shout out to Sports Closet, as always, for the Sports Closet studio. No, we're not wrapping up the show. We still have 15 minutes to go, but there's something, a big thing in last night's game, Liam, that we didn't talk about yet.
Okay.
It's our Alberta Blue Cross moment of the game.
Yes.
Because there's only one thing better than sharing memories, and that's making
new
new
ones.
Yes. Let Alberta Blue Cross protect you and all your memories with their travel insurance. ab.bluecross.ca/travel for more information. Nickelback played the second intermission. I am a little bit confused why they waited for like 10
It
to
was,
12
dude, they had the
minutes.
countdown going, and you were just watching the minutes go down, being like, well, we're going to get less and less Nickelback here.
I felt like they could have been a little bit more ready to go with that and given us like a 20-minute Nickelback show. Instead, I think watching on TV, you got 2 songs.
2 songs, and one of them wasn't even theirs.
Yeah. And then they played
Sunday night.
And then they played one more. They played Rockstar when they went to commercial.
See,
and no Burn It to the Ground.
No Burn It to the Ground.
How cool would it have been if they just kind of like, the players are coming out and they're still rocking, everyone's buzzing, and like, that would have been epic.
Play Burn It to the Ground while the teams are coming back for the third period.
Yes,
Oh, that would have been electric.
It would have been so cool. Or even like, they should have probably just played them in both intermissions.
Yeah,
Pay up,
but
NHL.
dude, if they would have just been ready to start right from the get-go, we could have gotten 5-6 songs of Nickelback. They could have just played like a minute and a half of a bunch of different hits instead of just like 3 full songs. I was a little bit disappointed in Nickelback, a little bit, but it's still great to see.
It's a little bit like what they do at, like, if you remember Rihanna at Super Bowl, she, I don't think she ever sang one full song. It was basically just 15 minutes or whatever it was of
all
just
the hits.
Everything she had, all the good stuff. Could have got that from Nickelback, but it would have been an hour.
I think that's harder to do as a rock band.
No, I think you can just mesh it together. Also, Chad Kruger's guitar was clear, and we had a real debate at Horrobin Manor if it was black or clear, but he was wearing black pants, and it showed a good angle of it.
Oh, really? His guitar was clear?
It was a clear
I can
guitar.
see. I was on the backside at the game. So,
Yeah.
really
Dave says should have played San Quentin. Matthew says they sounded great. They sounded awesome. They always are. It's Nickelback. I just felt like the approach could have been. That was my only complaint about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And how long it took me to get beers.
As someone who is excited for Nickelback, I rushed down to watch on the big screen at my place, and they played 2 songs.
I missed a lot of the second period because, Tyler, we were trying to plan it out to be smart to get our beers then.
Yeah.
Little did we know everybody in that stadium had the same idea.
Yeah.
Did
The
they
beer
not
lines
have
were crazy.
a cold beer?
They weren't going up and down the sections, which would have been great.
That's a miss.
Big miss.
And just
Big
cash.
miss.
Mhm. Yeah,
Just cash. Ugh.
What is this? 2003?
What is this?
Shout out the old Habs players being there too. Seeing
Oh,
Jose
yeah.
Theodore was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Who were the 3 Habs players?
Jose
Some old centerman.
and yeah,
Jose Theodore.
Jose Theodore. That's all I can remember.
Because
Ryan
for the
Giamatti, I
Oilers,
don't
it
know.
was Hemsky, Charlie Huddy, and Jarrett Stoll.
Correct.
Which was cool.
It was great.
Very interesting way to do a puck drop.
Yeah,
And also, they made
was
them stand
awkward.
there
It
for
was
a
weird.
while.
it was a
Yeah.
long time. It took too long.
And then they
Yeah.
also they mistimed the flyover.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
did
really
they?
did.
Yeah,
They
the
really did.
flyover came like 25 seconds once the anthem was on because we're all sitting there being like,
Didn't they just say there was going to be jets coming? And we
Yeah.
were just kind of waiting and shoo.
They really missed an opportunity too on doing the McDavid reveal.
they could have hyped it up a little more.
The parachute we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Parachute, Hunter, sprinting to the ice to burn it to the ground. Variety of options, none of them used. My
Fair.
Alberta Blues gross moment of the game, though, was Evander Kane. It was Evander Kane's viral clip that is now going. Is like, what is anyone going to do?
Yeah, that was great.
That was really
Electric.
cool to see.
was
That
funny.
was really fun.
Yep.
My moment of the game comes after the game and seeing all the awesome Oiler fans at Greta. It was a Sunday night. That place was packed last night. It was going.
This is going to be one of the least productive work days the city of Edmonton's had in a while.
Yep.
Because there were 55,000 strong at that stadium.
If we can do this after a measly 5-2 victory over the Calgary Flames on a random October night, imagine what we can do when we win the Stanley Cup.
Somebody in the chat last night said,
Very special.
I'm planning the parade again.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yes.
enjoy it, people. I'm not going to tell you no.
All right, there you go. That is our recap of the Heritage Classic. Shout out to Sherwood Ford Sports Closet Studio and Alberta Blue Cross for our moment of the game. Our YouTube chat is brought to you by Finning Cat. They were awesome out at the Edmonton Ice District Fan Park.
Yes.
Really, really cool. We all went and checked it out there, played around with the heavy machinery a little bit. Real boy shit, you know?
Real man.
Man stuff.
Just kidding. Shout out to Finning Cat. Find them online at finningcat.com. Giddy up. Oilers back in action on Thursday. Oh my God. We have to do 2 more shows before we get to a giant game day edition.
What are we gonna do?
Seems like a lot. But I want
Pre-gaming and post-gaming, we're a little okay with that. We're okay with
you're
that.
good now. Hey, you get to go to bed early a couple of times. I'm going to bed at 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna watch my Lions.
Yeah,
Oh,
Monday
yeah.
Night Football. Let's get to the menu
With the
for tonight.
Raiders.
We got the
Raiders.
It's that night of the
Wow.
year
Wow.
when every sport is playing.
It's Equinox.
Tonight is
Yeah.
the night.
Wasn't yesterday? No
No,
World
no
Series
baseball.
yesterday.
World Series.
So tonight.
And they said that tonight might be the only one this year.
All right. Well, let's
Enjoy
get in. Let's get into the menu. It's delivered by our friends at DoorDash, where our Canadian listeners, for a limited time, can get 25% off and no delivery fees on their first order when they use that promo code.
Oh, I cut your
That
arm off.
way, up there in the top right corner. Nation 25, all caps on Nation, gets you 25% off and no delivery fees on your first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app.
Ding dong.
Someone yesterday said you were starting to mail those in a little bit.
What do you mean?
Your ding dongs.
mail them in.
Yeah.
Like not doing them as
Yeah,
well.
you weren't putting as much
Well, the
passion in.
first one was
But today's was good. Today's was good.
On
I'm
the
happy with
post game yesterday, I said DoorDash. Pointed at Gavin. Nothing. DoorDash. Nothing.
Nothing.
Third one, he put it on the screen. I was like, no, I say ding dong.
We gotta get the button. I can
Oh,
just
yeah.
move my
Yeah,
mouth.
there you go. Yeah. Lip syncing. All right. The menu tonight, it is a loaded evening in the sports world. Could be, like you guys just said, the only sports equinox of the year. 9 games on tap in the NHL. Can we talk about the fact that Frank Vetrano has 8 goals for the Anaheim Ducks? What the hell?
And why I didn't pick him up in fantasy and somebody did this morning and it wasn't me?
Tough.
Ugh.
Someone did that in my league too, I think.
There is only one undefeated team remain. Oh no, there's no more undefeated teams in the NHL.
In regulation.
In regulation, yeah. 8-0-1, 7-0-1, Bruins and Golden Knights. I was looking to see if the San Jose Sharks play tonight because they are still winless.
Thankfully, they do not play for the sake of all of us and
Yeah,
themselves.
it's ugly in San Jose. Oh wow, they're off to Wednesday. So San Jose is still looking for their first win. They suck, dude. They're such a bad team.
You said this before the show, and I don't want to take away your
No, do it.
spotlight on this, but you don't develop players by losing every night.
We all saw it for 10 years here in Edmonton. It's hard
It's
to
tough.
develop, hard to rebuild when you're going to be that bad. They got to start getting better at some point, but they won't be this year.
But the crazy thing about it is, I think they've still got some good players. Like Logan Couture's still a good player. Duclair's solid.
Hurdle's good.
Hurdle's good. Who else have they got? Edward Vlasic's past it.
Mm.
I don't know. Like it's just not going to work for these
Yeah.
guys. Mikhail Granlund's
Couple of games I'm watching tonight, though.
Matt Bennon.
Golden Knights 8-0-1 taking on the somehow 5-2-1 Montreal Canadiens. That's really interesting to me. That's probably my game of the night in the NHL. But let's be honest, there's Monday Night Football, Lions, Raiders. That and the World Series is definitely taking precedent. That is the main course on our DoorDash menu for this evening. Do you like your chances? Do you like your Lions' chances?
Yeah, we're legit.
Yep.
We are legit. We might be without St. Brown though, which isn't ideal.
Really?
Yeah. Someone said he's
Shit.
No,
questionable.
he'll play. I believe
What's
in
the
him.
one after questionable? Doubtful.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
He's doubtful?
That's what they're saying.
Oh.
But the Lions do this thing too. They did it against Carolina, where they're good enough to beat these teams even without their best players. And the Lions are on a bye next week.
Mhm.
Like apparently David Montgomery could have played this week, but they're on a bye, so like, hey, we'll take it one more week. St. Brown was injured only a couple of weeks ago.
They're saying it's an illness, though.
An illness.
Yeah, he's
okay,
questionable.
So,
So I think he'll play.
We'll see.
Get an IV, get out there.
But if you're looking for some bets tonight, which I'm sure we'll get to pretty quick here,
Mhm.
I take a look at Josh Reynolds.
Okay.
Always
Mhm.
undervalued. Jameson Williams is going to be something now because Marvin Jones is retired,
Yeah,
essentially, or
he
left the team. And I'm just going to list all the wide receivers, but Khalif Raymond gets a lot of short stuff and gets like 10 yards. So I don't even know what his lines are right now, even if they have one. But if you can get him at like 22 and a half.
I like the
something
Reynolds
around there.
Raymond there.
Yeah, Raymond's pretty solid. And then Gibbs, pretty big game against the Ravens. Can he get
Yep.
going again? The Lions sucked so bad against the Ravens that tonight I think the Raiders are going to get.
How about the
Jimmy G
Broncos?
playing?
I think so.
Thank
You see the
goodness.
Broncos beat the Chiefs yesterday?
That was stunning.
Yeah, you know,
Snow
I
game.
won my fantasy football matchup because of that. Yeah, I played against Patrick Mahomes.
I need Amon Ra and oh man, I'm so screwed in this. I need Amon Ra and Goff to combine for 52 points for me to win my matchup.
Amon-Ra, they could.
It's crazy because it is doable.
20,
like those
26
guys,
each
they
is
could
actually
do it.
doable. It'll be sweaty. It'll be sweaty. All right, bets for this evening, courtesy of our friends at Betway. I kind of like Jahmyr Gibbs to score a TD.
Yeah, go with that one. I'm going to go with Williams for a TD tonight.
I'm going to
Think
go Josh
Jameson.
Reynolds.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Williams. They got to get him rolling here. And if St. Brown's out, it seems like a good opportunity to go after him a little
There's
bit.
so many good touchdown options on Detroit. Gibbs is minus 150. Amon Ra's plus 110. Sam Laporta's plus 145. He's legit, man.
Laporte is so good.
He's a
He's from
stud.
Tight End University.
Iowa.
It's so crazy. how
Jahmyr
he
Gibbs,
plays.
2+ TDs, plus 275. If you're looking to get real aggressive, but I like Gibbs to score a tutty today. Gibbs to score a tutty,
That's
combine
it. 275.
combine
Wow.
it with Lions to cover. I think they win. I think they win
It's
in
at Detroit, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
7-point spread. I think they'll win by 8 or 9.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 2 touchdowns. I think they'll win by 2. I'll tease it up.
You're gonna
No, I'm not.
Minus 12.5 is plus 165. It's tempting.
I want to try and find it. I should have opened this a while ago, but where is the receiving stuff? Okay, so the receiving props. Sam Laporte over 46.5. There it is. Josh Reynolds over 34.5.
Cash.
Minus 115. I think guys locked and loaded. Jameson Williams 25.5.
Okay.
I know I'm a bit of a homer here, but if you don't have the guy who's taking up all the yards, they've got to go somewhere, and you've got the second and third guy under 35 yards each.
Yeah.
Guys.
And Jared Goff's good.
good.
He's good. Nice.
He's good.
Jared
Up
Goff's
until
good.
last week, he was in the MVP conversation.
All right.
Rangers or Diamondbacks, Tyler?
Give me the D-backs game
Yep,
tonight.
me too.
Back at home, right? I like Arizona in this ball game.
Series flipped.
Series flipped. Riley is coming in late, but that game felt like it could be a turning point like the LA games last year. The vibes would have been ghastly if we lost. I agree. That was a must-win hockey game for the Oilers in the middle of October, at the end of October. Must win.
They couldn't have had
And they did it.
55,000 people boo.
March wants to
I
know
see
if
it.
we are ever getting the...
So here, I got 2 photos for you.
Yeah.
So this one's just yesterday.
So-
That's whatever. But they have, look at their chins. They're very, very same facial structure. I see a lot. Also, they're both gingers. If you didn't notice, that is that. And then they could be brothers, in my opinion.
They do, yeah. I see it.
I don't see it. Aaron.
You don't see it?
No.
The
Sorry.
nose,
The nose.
the lips.
Maybe it's the red. Let me know in the chat if you think I'm way off with this.
The face.
What was I just drunk last night?
Maybe. Well,
I
both
don't know.
could be true.
Yeah,
could
you're
be
right.
true.
You're right.
My boy D Cards is in and says, Tyler, you look phenomenal. I'm proud of you. Thank you.
He commented on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, he's the guy who bounces around. Dylan's here to get our numbers up.
Leave a like.
He's a hell of a beer league goalie too.
On
Shout out to
both.
Dylan. Yeah, Nova 55K would have booed them out if they lost. Yeah. I mean, the Oilers had to win last night, and they went out and got the job done. But can't stop there. Need to go have a good performance against the Dallas Stars.
What time do we start on Thursday?
Puck drop
7.
So 7:07.
Yeah.
Is it Edmonton?
In
Yep.
Edmonton.
Yep.
Stars on the second of back-to-backs. They play the Flames the night before at 8:30.
No Ottinger? That'd be sick. No, he'll play against us.
We'll get on.
Who's the backup? Wedgwood?
Yeah.
Well, what do they got?
We
this
might get
week?
Wedgwood. 1, backup goalies, Oilers kryptonite.
Shit.
2, I think teams, when they go through this trip right now, if you have Edmonton on the second day of your back-to-back, I think you play your starter against Calgary and be like, let's just get the 2.
Well, here you
Let's
go.
get the 2.
Here you
Get the
go.
easy
You got,
ones.
they have Columbus tonight.
Yeah.
Calgary Wednesday, Edmonton Thursday, Vancouver Saturday.
That's a tough roadie.
Look, I hate to say this, but Vancouver might be the most difficult team they have to face on this road trip.
Yeah.
So you might want to play him on Saturday.
Yeah. I think you go Ottinger first, and I think they'll probably see Wedgwood. Pacific Division standings right now. I know we only have a minute left in the show, so maybe this will be tomorrow's thing. Yeah, it's gonna be tomorrow's thing.
Ooh,
We're gonna
such a tease.
redo our Pacific Division predictions with what we know.
To remake the graphic.
Remake the graphic, Liam. Get to work. I'm giving you 23 hours heads up. But the Sharks have lost 7 in a row. The Flames have lost 5 in a row. Ay. Pacific Division's a mess. We're gonna break that all down tomorrow on the program. Shout out to Betway 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Shout out to Century Mile Racetrack and Casino. New races every Friday and Saturday out at the track. So this weekend, Oilers don't play on Friday. There you go. Just planned your Friday night for you. Don't worry about it. Go to Greta after. Bang. What a night. Shout out to Sherwood Ford, the Giant, DoorDash, ding dong.
Ding dong.
Our Alberta Blue Cross moment of the game. Our new friends at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Finning and Cat. We'll have more with them coming up throughout the week on the YouTube chat. And Sports Closet for not only being great and having the Sports Closet studio, but my boys at the Sports Closet in St. Albert for hooking me up with this sweet lid.
I gotta get one.
Go. We'll
Those
be
are
matchy.
legit.
The Toques were out in full force yesterday.
Yeah,
the
the
Battle of
Toques are
Alberta
sharp.
ones. I want one now.
All right. Well, it's 1 o'clock. So
It's bedtime for me and Tyler.
night, everybody. Talk tomorrow at noon Mountain.
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation every day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit OilersNation.com.